Hello there, my friends. Chris Marcus here with you on Friday, September 8th. And good news! Well, I don't know if it's really good news, but today's video is about the debt ceiling deal has been resolved. Actually, I don't know if that's really the right word, resolved. It's been extended. There was news, saw this first yesterday, and reading the article as I woke up this morning, but as we mentioned the other day, U.S. debt ceiling basically, once again, have reached a point where there is a cap on how much the government is supposed to be allowed to go into debt, which ideologically is a great idea. The only problem is that every time it comes, they just raise the debt ceiling limit and talk about how unpatriotic it is and how it would be a default to not raise the limit, which I would say are both pretty thoroughly untrue, especially the latter, where Peter Schiff was always great at pointing this out, that not raising the limit is not defaulting on the debt. You could not raise the limit and just not go deeper into debt. It's not raising the limit, or actually it's just continuing to spend beyond the limit whether you raise it or not. So again, hey, that's how American politics, I think that's how politics has worked around the globe for a couple centuries. Coming up with, and I love that word, demagoguing, to you're not a patriot if you don't support going deeper into debt, or you're not for the good of the country, which I don't think is really true at all. Sometimes I wonder if these guys believe it. I mean, almost the more you see some of these things happen, the more I begin to question, are they really even trying to help make things better? Is it all just for show and, in the end to go ahead and do what they want, which is usually for the best of the banks or the political class, and leave everybody else off to fend for themselves? But fortunately, there's a lot of us and only a few of them. And despite the fact that another debt ceiling limit has come and gone, I think people are starting to notice these things, and certainly perhaps one way of demonstrating that is as the market notices these things, because a lot of them are based on money. And when there is that break point of whatever percent of people it is that start seeing what's going on, start seeing how our money's been spent, not often for the causes that you would think. And it was actually interesting, this debt ceiling limit increase was somewhat unexpected this early, although the way it was phrased, House passes deal on storm aid, debt limit, government funding. So, again, I can't say this for sure, although I guess sure enough that if anyone wants to bet a couple ounces of silver on it. I mean, again, the way it's phrased, we're doing this because we're really concerned about the victims of Hurricane Harvey and Irma, which, not to be a skeptic, but hopefully that is the case, because certainly I think we've all been thinking about that this week, and it's, wow, of course it's unfortunate any time you have one of these natural disasters, and I'd like to send out some warm wishes and hope that the people in those areas are getting out safely. And yeah, it's kind of tough to imagine just waking up and all your stuff in your house being gone. And so sending a warm prayer to people down in Texas, and also now, I guess, Miami. I hear it's been taking longer to get there than people thought, although again, just been in my thoughts. So hope you're all doing well. And hopefully somehow, if Congress is going to go and print and spend more money, which probably is what they're going to do, hopefully some of that money does actually get down to the people who need it. Again, it's often a tricky thing to think about, because perhaps you've heard that old phrase that foreign aid is taking money from poor people in rich countries and giving it to rich people in poor countries, with the meaning being that often, you're taxing people and then it's said, oh, we're going to go help the victims of the hurricane or the earthquake, and often it goes to the leaders and political class of that country. So hopefully Congress won't be following that template this time. It's sad to even see that happen at various times when there are people in need. But in either case, the article mentions under the bill, the government's funding will now expire on December 8th, and the debt limit will be suspended until the same date. Although, like usual, Treasury Department officials will be able to take steps to continue paying the government's bills for a period beyond that, which they always seem to slip in there, and I always wonder how that is. Are they saying they're committing accounting fraud? Are they not giving us the correct numbers? Again, accounting fraud. Maybe I should be careful when I say this, although I'll just say it anyway. It's amazing that Congress, they brought in Enron, 15 years ago, and called that accounting fraud, yet used the same schemes, by not including unfunded liabilities. And here it is, it was the limit on the 8th, or is it not? And how are you going to extend it? I mean, it's all, in the end, notice that there hasn't been a resolution. There hasn't been a plan saying, all right, this is how we're going to rein in spending. This is how we're going to keep things in check. It's just, hey, we'll wait till the 8th, and then either before or at that point, most likely raise it again, which in the end is nothing new. This has been going on for a while, although pointing out the signs, because I know it's hard for people to grasp that at some point this all has to come to an end, because I think human nature is that there's some hope that these guys do the right thing, that they act responsibly. I personally don't think that's going to happen. That's why I make the videos I do. I make the investments that I make, because outside of the fact that it's the U.S. government, we've been indoctrinated since birth. You always hear in the economic circles that when there's a crisis somewhere, people buy dollars, buy treasuries, calling that the safe haven or the flight to quality. Yet, if you just took away the name on the label, I challenge someone to demonstrate in any way outside the fact that we've just always thought that way of what really is safe, or how, Moody's still has their AAA rating on U.S. government debt, where it's really, is there a less trustworthy or creditworthy borrower than the U.S. government? So anyway, the debt ceiling has now been resolved, at least for the time being. Again, hopefully at least some of this news does lead to people who are affected by the storms actually being helped. I'll hope for that, and certainly if anyone's watching in those areas, just my thoughts are going out to you, and hope that you're well. And as for the U.S. government, not so well, but again, just understanding, seeing these things, and realizing that things are happening in the markets. Dollar index trading a little lower today, not surprisingly, and we'll see how it all resolves. So with that said, it is Friday, so enough finance for the week. Go outside, do something fun, give someone a hug. Remember that, yes, these things are important, and how we treat our money, I think there's a lot of value in that. Although also just getting out there, enjoying life is good too. So that's what I'm going to do. Go see some music tonight. Hit the subscribe button, because we'll have you covered again on markets next Monday. And with that said, have a great weekend, and I'll see you soon.